We are politically divided. There's no debate. The left hates the right, and the feeling's mutual. This video will cover how our primary and general election process is leading to more and not less political polarization. Most voters feel powerless in politics today, and many have checked out altogether. And those who are engaged in politics are angry at the other side, and they're in love with their side. And if you're a Republican, then Donald Trump's your man. Why? Because he advocates for oil exploration, avoids woke politics, is for tax cuts, and is serious about ridding Washington, D.C. of its corruption. If you're a Democrat, then Joe Biden's your man. Why? Because he advocates against oil, is for green energy, is a proven statesman, is a champion of the immigrants, and is not Donald Trump. Let's face it, if you're a conservative, you enjoy poking fun at the ridiculousness of the Democrats, and if you're a liberal, you enjoy your intellectual prowess over the troglodyte Republicans. While this fight might be fun for some, it's ruinous for most of us who want to live our best lives without picking either side. Before we became politically polarized, the distribution of political ideologies looks something like this. This is a normal distribution curve, and it's called normal because it illustrates a natural distribution of diverse opinions. Most people want gainful employment, a safe neighborhood, and a chance for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The way that they believe they can achieve these objectives is different. For instance, the right believes lower taxes and reduced regulation will allow for a better life. The left believes that more government services and higher taxes will provide for a better life. All people want to elect a representative who will create a framework that will give them their best shot at their American dream. So how is our democratic election process creating political polarization that will end in war and destroy any chance of your American dream? Each political party runs a primary election. In this process, the political party nominates a candidate who will compete against the other political party's candidate for a position of power in the government. If our country was not politically polarized, the winner of a primary election would lean in the direction of their political party. However, they should have relatively moderate views. As it turns out, primary elections have a 30% turnout, and this turnout is heavily weighted toward the extreme members of that political party. This means that the primary election voters look like this. The winner of this Republican primary will be a nominee that leans to the right or is far right, and this same mechanism is at work in the Democratic primary election. The two primary elections yield a liberal candidate from the left competing against a conservative candidate from the right. Instead of representing most people in the middle, there is a choice between a far left candidate or a far right candidate. This choice, combined with heavily funded campaigns from both parties, creates a new reality. The voter turnout is 60 to 70% of eligible voters in the general election. This is double the amount who vote in a primary election. And even though the distribution of political ideals is normally distributed, many in the center of the normal distribution don't vote or pick the extreme candidate that is closest to their ideology. The winner of the general election will have a narrow victory and celebrate, while the loser will never be heard from again, and the loser's supporters are left without representation and must wait until the next election for a more favorable result. General elections are closely contested. Therefore, it's important to get the non-voters to vote for your side. Political parties know that many voters don't want to vote. They're either turned off by politics or they don't feel like they understand enough to cast a vote. So political parties play political games to win. Get out to vote campaigns are a tactic that has been most effective at tilting the scales of democracy. The first step of a get out to vote campaign is polarizing people groups against one another. Convince black people that white people are the enemy and they are all in the Republican Party. Convince business people that there are people who want to rob your wealth, and they're all in the Democratic Party. If politicians have done a good job of polarizing voters, the get out to vote campaigns are easy. Democrats know that they will typically win at least 85% of the black vote. If they encourage black people to vote, they will gain an advantage. Republicans know that if they can motivate more religious people to vote, they will gain an advantage. This get out to vote effort works for polarized voting blocks, and after both parties do their get out to vote campaigns, the election demographics change. In this example, the Democrats were able to convince more of their favorite voting blocks to vote, and the Republicans didn't do such a good job. Other tactics are used to shift voting results. Gerrymandering is setting the district boundaries to favor one political party over the other. We discussed get out to vote campaigns. Even the format of how an election is conducted will change the result of votes. In 2020, Republicans lobbied against mail-in ballots because Republicans historically performed poorly with mail-in ballot voters. Democrats lambasted Republicans for not wanting eligible voters to vote. The most recent tactic is to get your political opponent disqualified with partisan prosecutors. The winner of a close political race is sent to Washington, D.C., where polarization becomes an even greater problem. Once your representative makes it to Congress or the presidency, they support their political party's ideals. Statistically speaking, this extreme left or extreme right position will not reflect your best interests. There are one of three ways the U.S. federal government operates: majority Republican, majority Democrat, or gridlock. Both Democrats and Republicans know that their extreme positions are not desired by most Americans. This means that the majority party will lose its majority in the next election cycle. The majority needs to pass as much biased legislation as possible before they lose power. The minority party's job is to resist, stall, and restrict funding of any initiatives favored by their enemy majority. In the case of gridlock, the president gains greater power over the operation of the government. The president will write executive orders that dictate the way the government is to be operated. And since the president and his or her cabinet lead government employees, those employees tend to favor the president's political party. And when elected officials are busy fighting, government employees create their systems of government. This is called the deep state, or more simply, government bureaucracy. Government employees are the most familiar with government systems because they are immune from the transition of power between Republicans and Democrats. Bureaucrats can easily manipulate elected officials, especially outsiders who don't know how to play their bureaucratic games. And guess what? Government employees are just as politically polarized as the rest of us. A conservative government employee will resist the directions being given to them by a liberal authority. Likewise, a liberal employee will resist the direction being given to them by a conservative leader. The system of government that we have in this politically polarized environment is guaranteed to result in the disaster that we see with energy policy, the economy, healthcare, ethnic division, foreign policy, immigration, taxation, Social Security, and any other government topic that you can name. So each election cycle, we become more polarized. Why? Because even if you lean to one side, you must vote for an extreme politician to pull the government to your side. And once you pick a side, psychology tells us that you will justify whatever your side does, and you will demagogue the other side. This is a combination of blind loyalty and confirmation bias. With confirmation bias, you'll seek out information that rationalizes why your side is right and the other side is wrong, and you will ignore information that challenges your beliefs. The worst part about political polarization is that it leaves us divided. To win elections, politicians use wedge issues that favor a slight majority within their respective districts. They do this by pandering to specific groups of people, convincing those people that they are victims of the other people. And who are the other people? They are your neighbors, your family, your friends, your colleagues, and they are fellow Americans who want the same things that you do. This leaves most people angry at the other side who have no intent to cause them harm. Democrats and Republicans have good ideas. The problem is that in a politically polarized environment, these ideas are taken to extremes and are often used to penalize people who disagree with the majority. In a politically polarized environment, solutions are extreme, expensive, and wrong-minded. Corruption by the majority is ignored, while minor offenses of the minority are attacked. Each political party will be punished with rigor in their next primary election if they show a desire to negotiate with the other side, and this is not a recipe for individual liberty and justice for all. So if polarization is the problem, then unity must be the solution. This video started showing a normal distribution of people, and these people are more than statistics. They have diverse wants and needs. A government cannot give each person or faction of people everything that they want or need. A healthy self-government will create the best chance for everyone to live their best life without impinging on the rights and liberties of other citizens. And this isn't easy. I'm an engineer by schooling and by profession. I love to solve complex problems. Our political polarization in the United States is more complicated than any engineering challenge I've faced. However, it is solvable. I have recently published a book called Engineering Unity, A Path to Resolving Political Polarization in the United States. And in my book, I objectively describe several political wedge issues. I respectfully lay out the case for the left, the right, and the center. Politicians use these wedge issues to divide us. While this division is great for politicians, it's deadly for our United States. I've included links below for you to purchase a copy of my book in paperback, audiobook, or Kindle. And I do plan to produce more videos like this one on individual political topics. If you're interested, please like this video and subscribe to my Reengineering Politics YouTube channel. And I'll see you in the next video.